Welcome to the Good Rookies podcast. My name is Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, and we are Good Rookies.
That's right.
What's going on, everybody? This is Good Rookies podcast, and you know what it is. It's Good Tuesday, and it's episode 16. Episode 16. So, guys, we're so excited, y'all. We have an amazing guest. Yo, this man has all the class and the jokes, so he will make you laugh this episode for show. Faheem, please introduce who we got.
All right. So we have a world-renowned DJ, a man of many hats, and a producer who moonlights as a DJ. Let's welcome DJ Agile to the podcast today.
What's up, guys, gals? How you guys?
DJ Agile.
DJ Agile.
DJ Agile.
DJ Agile.
Yes.
I'm gonna sample that and make a beat.
And yes, you could, because you're that talented, bro. So you're a DJ and a producer. So can you, for folks who understand what producing is, please walk them through both DJing and, of course, producing music.
Yeah, the two go hand in hand. Actually, a lot of music producers are DJs. So whether you DJ Premier, Pete Rock, it's a long, Dr. Dre, Rick Rubin. There's a long list of producers that either start as DJs or producers that they start as producers and then they learn how to DJ. It's like a yin and yang, right? You want to be able to make, if that's the music that you're into, you're interested in how people move to music and human movement. There's no other better job to study human movement than either kinesiology or being a DJ. It's one or the other. Because literally we're playing joints and people are moving. And if they're not moving, you're not a good DJ. You're not going to have that job for long, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's like, as a producer, you want to go out and study. It's like, okay, so why are these songs? What is it about these beats that make people dance? What are they reacting to? What emotion are they exhibiting when you play said songs? Is it angry? Is it like shook ones? You drop shook ones and everybody mean mugging. Even the hottest girl with the slickest purse, cleanest outfit, you drop shook ones, she's mean mugging because the emotion is tense. It's like, I'm gonna do these reps right now. It's workout music, even though I'm at the club. You know what I mean? And so as a producer, learning how to DJ does two things, right? It teaches you about rhythm and syncopation, and then it teaches you how people react to the music. So I'm a producer first and kind of fell into DJing the same way I fell into producing. I just kind of fell in love with it in high school. And yeah, it's great. I always tell people, I'm like, producing, that's my day job. DJing, that's my night job. So I have two jobs. Mm-hmm. I'm honorary Jamaican.
Honorary Jamaican, dead ding. That's dope though, because there's certain songs, like if they play that Good Life, the Scarborough will come out, and I'm downtown, so yeah, I hear you on that still. Real talk.
Yeah, I mean, music is like the way our brains store music. It's like timestamps, right? You remember certain places, who you were with, what you were doing, where you were at, what city you were in, what party you were at when certain songs hit. So they'll forever walk with you. They'll always be with you as that song at that time. Like, so for instance, you remember Ja Rule and J Lo, I'm Real?
Of course.
So that summer when that song was kicking dust, my brother, my sister, and I, with our significant others, went to go visit my dad in Columbus, Ohio. That's how my brain marks that song.
Wow.
That's all I remember about that song.
Right.
Is that.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned that.
Go ahead.
I have an experience of one time I was in Jersey going over the bridge to Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And I just remember that Jay-Z, Beanie Siegel, and Scarface, Guess Who's Bizak?
Woo! How could you forget?
That came on the radio there, and there was traffic on the radio. So we're just stuck there. And that's a track that whenever I hear that track, it takes me back to being on that bridge looking over. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, it's the same. Like that whole trip, we must have heard that song maybe like 80 times over like 5 days, just because, it was like kicking butt. and it was just on no matter what station you were changing. Like, we drive through Detroit on the way to Columbus, and like every station in Detroit's playing that. And then you get out of that, you lose the Detroit signal, and you're moving to the next city. And when you finally get radio stations, because like we were playing CDs in the car, but after you get bored of CDs, you try to see
what's a CD. I'm joking.
This is before you can walk with like 4 million songs on that. I
know, right? Imagine back in the day, the stuff we had to do to keep songs and keep records. Like, but I would say now though, records are making a comeback, because I have a lot of friends now that are collecting records. Like, they are actually record collecting. It's actually a big push towards purchasing records nowadays. So the history will repeat itself for real.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the good things too is, if the hard drives ever went down on the planet, if any of that ever happened, I could still play all my music. I'm not like,
right.
You know what I mean?
That's true. So that means that we'll all go to your house if anything ever happens to, it's 2020. I mean, shoot, like, Butler is dating, I think, what's her name? Selena. Like, listen, this year, everything's happening this year. So let's see what will happen with music and the power outages. Who knows? Yeah, he is dating Selena Gomez. It came out today, Faheem.
Who?
Buckets. Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler and Selena Gomez?
Yeah.
Isn't there a huge, I know that there's age differences, but
I mean, they're both young things. They're both young things.
Really?
They're in their 20s. Yeah, they're in their 20s.
Agile's just sitting there sipping his water.
Man, listen. They're both young things, man. But yeah, that came out today, allegedly, that that's his new bae.
All right. Well, congratulations. All the best.
So it's 2020, y'all. We'll see what happens. But if power goes out, y'all, I'll go into DJ Agile's house to play some music.
All right. So let's go to, actually, let's focus on a quick topic. Actually, a few of them. We got a few on deck. Just go in and out of them. Sarah Fuller. She's the first, and actually I shouldn't say the first female kicker, because I came to find out, I heard she's a third. She's the first one to play at a Pac-5 school. Is that how it goes, Nelly J?
Yeah, so essentially like the top, so Power 5 college,
okay,
yeah,
right.
Power 5 college football game. So that's the top highest league, right, level of college football. But she's the third woman to compete in the FBS. So
okay, and she was a kicker.
Yeah. So let's just kind of so the first lady was Katie Nida for New Mexico, and then was April Goss of Kent State. They kicked before her, but those teams were of course in a different like level, whereas she's the first one to kick in at actually the highest level ever in college football. So that's really big. So
okay, so just give some context. The highest level, but the team Vanderbilt, they're 0-8, apparently the worst team in the league. That's just,
and they lost that game she kicked in, I think 0-40. But keep in mind, because of COVID, that's why they had like a lot of players are out this year because of COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, Nelly J. So how do you feel? How does this make you feel seeing Sarah Fuller, the female kicker, doing this?
I think it's fantastic. I've always said in football, if women are ever going to play in a football game for any reason, it will have to be as a kicker, right? When it comes to football, these guys are obviously benching how much weight. They're massive men, right? So for girls to play with boys in football is a bit different, maybe up until a certain age group. But after that, like comes to muscle strength and weight, it's just anatomy, right? So I think it's cool. Like, she's going to travel with them on their next game this week. And, even though the team isn't doing that well because of injuries and COVID related issues, I think it's really cool to see women kind of crossing that barrier. And who knows, right? I think this is the thing, right? A lot of times when it comes to even women being involved in football, right? Commentating, broadcasting, it will bring more respect towards a female's voice in sports by seeing a woman playing with men in sports too. So I think it's fantastic. Big up to her. She's very confident. She got that swag. And she was like, yeah, like her goal is to keep playing, right? And getting stronger. So I wish her all the luck and all the best.
Okay, so see how you say she wishes to continue playing, right?
Yes.
So I'm a girl dad. Hold on, I'm a girl dad. Go ahead.
playing with this team, but not the NFL. I mean, playing
No,
within,
not even that.
college,
I understand the context of what you're saying,
Okay.
right? I'm just saying I'm a girl dad, right? And I see. So actually, I got two part with this. One, being a female and playing football, it's good to see this happening, from an optic standpoint, but it's not like she earned her right on the team. Let's be real. Like, it's not like she's kicking farther than the men, right? She was there, and even if she decides she wants to go further with this, the furthest she can go is the lingerie league, which is a football league for women. Yes. So being a woman,
and they do well. They make enough money. That one girl got a $2 million contract, so they're making more money than some of the players in the WNBA. They are.
Yeah, it's just I just wonder what if there's like is the play to get women like for football. I understand women watch football, but is it the play for them to also be a women's sport?
No. So remember, she's there for a soccer scholarship. So she's a soccer athlete, right? That's her sport, and she plans on playing soccer professionally. That's her goal. Right. But she has the legs to kick the football, right? So that's why she's the kicker for the team. But her goal is to play soccer professionally and not just football. That's her end game, is soccer. But imagine the coach is saying that my team's injured, my kickers are not available to kick. Like, he had to pick someone that can step up. And she said yes. I mean, some people could have said no, you know what I'm saying? But she was like, you know what, I'll do it, no problem. So you have a soccer player playing football in a Power 5 like game. That's huge. So for her to even do it, to say yes, and she did pretty well. Of course, she won't cook. Right now, she won't kick for any field goals yet or punting. It's just like the first kick in the game.
Kickoff.
Yeah, kickoff. Yeah.
I'm not for or against it. I mean, I think women can play those type of more physical sports in certain roles. I mean, I'm waiting for a woman to become a quarterback of a team. I think, the right type of woman would be suited. First of all, women are highly intelligent, obviously, great multitaskers, and able to think on the fly. And I mean, that's the job of a quarterback, right? So when I think of someone like, what was, I think Lucy Lawless, is that her name? The actress? She's like a more athletic, bigger set girl, or like even someone like, rest in peace, China from wrestling.
Right.
Yeah.
If they were quarterbacks, it wouldn't shock me in the least that they could do the job. I mean, they have the physical prowess to handle the abuse of the game, and if they were smart to the quarterback is a thinking position, right? So if they were smart enough to do the job, I don't see why a woman wouldn't be able to be a quarterback. I think being a quarterback, a kicker, and maybe a defensive back are the three positions that I could see women playing like with men in any league if they were, on that level. It's just like when you get to like a lineman. I really don't see like a line woman.
Yeah, like linemen. Right. It's no.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
too massive.
Yeah,
they're like tall and they're wider.
Yeah, it just becomes less likely, right?
Yeah.
Linebacker.
Listen, like I truly believe never say never. And I think, remember, there's only been 3 women who've played in college football ever. And she's the first one playing in a Power 5 game ever. I mean, we're in the cusp of like history here. You know what I mean? So it's still a historic moment. It's still amazing to see her doing it. But I mean, will it happen again? It probably will happen again, because who knows what can happen. But I think if a girl wants to play football and she plays against guys and plays with women later on, that's not a fault to her. Like, I think it's cool. I mean, why not do it? If you can, then do it.
Do you think that that there's only been 3 women because it's been more of a boys' club and they haven't even given women that given them that chance to be like, hey, because I'm sure there's more women that were capable of playing. They just didn't get that chance, right?
Yeah, I think it's many factors. I think it's, remember, it's men's, like, it's a men's college league. So that's the factor, right? It's like it's a boys' league to begin with, right?
Right.
But I just think that, like Faheem said, it was just timing. I think there was injuries, there was people who had COVID, and literally the depth chart is like she's the only one for kickoffs. Like that's her role right now. And the coach said that like literally he wants her on the team, and he's like, I will play who's best for that day. He's like, if it's Sarah, she'll start. If it's not, she won't start. But he's like, I'm not gonna start her because of her gender or not her gender. If she says she wants to go and play and in practice, she's practicing, she's playing against these men in my team and she's showing potential, I will start her. So I think that's fair when it comes to equality, right? If she's can take the hits and doing a good job in practice, why not put her in a game? Like, why not? It's still her choice. You know what I mean? Plus, remember, she's 21.
Right. I do have a question, a housekeeping question. You know, like the coaches usually talk in the dressing room or the change rooms before the game, obviously she's not changing in there with them, but like how does she participate in that part of the game? And if women were to be a part of the game, like how would they participate? Like that's been such a part of the game, right? Like the dressing room or change room.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends, right? Like I'm not sure the aesthetics of how it works, but they probably will have their, I mean, typically they're not they have their clothes on. If not, they have maybe their shirts off, but they're not naked. You know what I mean?
Skype.
So, pardon me, Fame?
I say Skype.
Skype her. Zoom ting. No, like who knows? But I'm sure, I mean, at the end of the day, they'll probably figure it out.
Yeah.
It's one player. I remember it's the first one ever. So they're probably going to try different things to see how it works. But I mean, it's still historic. It's still incredible. And she enjoys it. Like she loves it. And again, this girl plays soccer on the team. So she's obviously very talented.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Fair. She's athletic. She has the skills there and she wants to play. So I think for her, I mean, why not make history? Like the team's crap anyway. So why not play? Like, why not?
Right.
That's fair. So best of luck, Sarah Fuller. We'll see how the season goes, continuing with her. They continue to use her to make history.
Dope.
So Agile, DJ Agile, did you see the League of Legends review?
I only watched the Tyson and the Roy Jones Jr. fight. Mm-hmm. So I caught it. I was working, and then I was like, "Oh shoot, the fight's on!" So I caught it in the second round. So I watched it from the second round to the end.
Okay. Tyson
clearly beat him. That was such a BS. Oh, it's a draw. I'm like, no, not everybody's going home with a ribbon tonight. Like he lost. Like Roy Jones lost. That's okay. I mean, the fact that they were 250-year-olds punching the lights out of each other is amazing. I mean, I felt bad for Nate Robinson because he's turned into the meme of the year. But you know, I watch sports shows and they all said it on Monday. They're like, you can go pretend to golf, you can go to pretend to play hockey, you can go to pretend to play a bunch of sports. You can't play box. There's no such thing as play box. You get in the ring, you either know what you're doing or you get a deaf Oz. And I mean, I watched him. Like, my mind was blown because I'm not into like MMA and all that stuff. I used to be into boxing, but I don't know. As I'm getting older, I'm just not as attracted to those sports as I used to be, and I've become like a supreme basketball geek. But I know a little bit about boxing. You know, I'm from Scarborough. Like, you know, even if you're not a good fighter, you know how to at least put your hands in front of your face,
right?
And don't step into a punch.
Yo,
with your hands down.
The things, bro.
I
had no defense.
His momentum was into the fist. I'm like, this is 101. Even the worst, even the roadmans that's like 0 for 99, fighting on the street, knows not to step into a punch.
No.
Down. I don't know what to say. I thought it was. I mean, overall, I think the best thing for the whole night was Snoop Dogg. Snoop was amazing.
Yes. A lot of people are saying that he should get into commentating NBA games.
Bro, he was. Look, I was surprised at how knowledgeable he was. Mm-hmm. Like, and I shouldn't be because he's such a sports guy, but he really he had technical prowess that I didn't, think that he would have. And he was very entertaining, and he had good little analogies and he's a rapper, so he's quick with the words, and
right.
you know, he has a great voice, so it was also massaging and soothing. Snoop was dope. I would watch more boxing if Snoop was doing more commentating. HBO hire that guy, he's fired.
Right.
Bingo. But can they afford him?
I mean,
Can they afford him? So a few things that I thought you would mention, Agile, because they had lots of artists performing, which typical. So I forgot. So like you didn't watch the entire night, but they had like literally 3 or 4 songs, like artists performing between each fight, which is so some fans were saying that it was too much and they didn't like it, and some fans thought that it was actually a good thing. So like, what are your thoughts with the performances in between the fights?
I saw all the performances by themselves. They were terrible performances. So it's not that I thought there were too much performances.
Mm-hmm.
I think the performers that they hired were not suited for the gig. I mean, Montana was rapping over his vocals on TV. I mean, it's bad enough if you do that at a concert. And this is not a diss to French Montana. Like, I like French Montana, huh? I think I like the music. I like him. I like his swag, his idiocy. But you know, a show is a show, and rapping over your vocals is lazy. It's supremely lazy, and but most importantly, it doesn't sound good. It's never sounded good. Like the only time I ever let that slide is if an artist is in a club and they came up to the DJ booth or whatever and they wanted to rock the mic for a second and they were big enough to do that kind of thing and turn up the place and the DJ didn't have their instrumentals. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you're performing on pay-per-view and you're not rocking an instrumental? Are you amateur? You know, you're French Montana, you're multi-platinum, you got bangers after bangers, you bun down clubs and concerts all across the world. This is like 101. You can't rap. Like, you can have your ad libs. You can maybe have a hook if you're not a strong singer.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't have your lead rap track and you're rapping over your lead rap track. That's like two people talking at the same time.
No, good take on that, because I know for me, I wasn't really happy with the performances. I thought for me, the highlight was Snoop. Like, Snoop cracked me up when he said, so if you watch the Jake Paul fight, when Nate went on the first time, remember, he was knocked down 3 times, okay? 3 times. The first time he got knocked down, Snoop Dogg was like, oh Lord, right? Like, he was just so funny. And then Snoop Dogg began to sing hymns, like actual hymn, like spiritual hymns, spirituals throughout the fight. So this time I'm in tears and I feel bad. I'm like, yo, poor Nate's getting killed in the ring and I'm deading because Snoop is so funny. And then I remember Snoop goes, wow, no defense. Oh, he's too eager. Oh, it's a street fight. Oh, it's in the hood. Like, he's not trying to fight in the hood. Like, I'm like, Snoop, I can't, bro. I'm literally in tears watching this man, poor Nate, getting knocked out. And I'm laughing so hard because Snoop is making me laugh. Like, he was so good. And then, pardon me? And then for like the mic fight, what I liked was when I forgot his name, but no, Ray. Ray was like, "Oh, Roy is trying to frustrate Mike," and Snoop goes, "Does he really want to frustrate Mike?" And again, I'm like, because you know Mike bite ears off, right? So I'm like, bro, Roy, please don't get your ears bitten off. Like, Mike isn't that dude. Like, he will get upset. So, but I really think that Mike was more prepared. He was definitely more conditioned. Ray was so mash up, like bust up. His backside was like panting. After the first round, my man was like this. I'm like, bro, it's only one round. You have 7 more to go, right? The judges' cards were so biased. I think the third judge, he gave literally Roy 10 for every round. And I'm like, how's that possible? I love Roy, but how's that possible? Now, Roy got some good hits, but I do think overall, like, looking at conditioning and what Mike was able to do with Roy, I thought Mike should have won that fight. But again, the judges put in their score, and I think on Twitter they're saying that, like, it's Vegas, right? Vegas wanted them to tie because they want a part 2. You know what I mean? Come on, it's all money. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what, they all got paid to fight, win or lose. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Roy was panting because Mike was beating him in the body, so he had no air in his lungs. You could tell like some of those hits. If they could visualize the air coming out of his lungs on the hits, you just see puffs of clouds of oxygen leaving every hit. Because it's Tyson, right? Like even though he's 50 years old, if he thumps you, it's still gonna.
Yo, he could poke me and I will fall off. I'll pass out. Like, yeah. Mike's arms were like, I'm like, yo, Mike is still like cut, bro.
Yeah, he was taking it to the body. Like he was just punching the air out of those lungs over and over. So you see, even after the fight, like he's still.
Yeah, he was holding his ribs.
Yeah,
he's holding his ribs. One thing I could say, Mike definitely he still has the form. Like maybe not the power and everything, but he looked like, as much as Mike hadn't boxed in like over 15 years, Roy had boxed pretty recently within the last 2 years, but Mike looked in better boxing form than Roy did.
Yeah,
Agreed. But at the end of the day, if there's going to be a part 2, I don't think anyone's going to be down for the part 2, but we have to give a shout out to League of Legends just to the fact that it was a successful night in regards from an entertainment standpoint. Absolutely. And if they can subtract Mike and Roy and slip in another 2 marquee names of some point, and then do the same formula, have better artists this time, have a dope undercard like they did this time, I think people will tune in for a part 2 of whenever they do this next League of Legends. So we gotta shout them out.
But the part 2 must have Snoop. Like I will
Snoop
boycott
in the ring?
them. You understand? I will boycott them. They better hire Snoop for all League of Legends anything. He should be like real talk. Like he was my highlight. Like I literally was at home and I was literally busting a tear because of Snoop Dogg's foolishness. He was so funny.
Yeah, I don't want to see them if Snoop's not there. I'm out.
And also that I forgot Israel, the UFC fighter. He was really good too.
Right.
He was really good. I liked him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was good.
So Steph Curry, he's got his own brand under Armour now. So
sorry, I'm laughing at Agile, not at Curry.
Oh, well, with the form with the 3. Yes. Much like Jordan Brand. Now Steph
nothing like Jordan Brand. Nothing like Jordan
Brand. Well,
do not listen. Jordan Brand is the thing, eh?
I'm just saying Jordan can sign his own players to his brand. Steph now can sign players to his brand. What do you guys think in regards to? Is there any player in particular that you think would be the first one up under Steph's Under Armour brand?
No.
No one in particular.
Who'd want to be okay? Who'd want to be on under Steph Curry's brand right now? If I'm a rookie player, and I have Puma, I have Jordan, and I have Adidas, even like Reebok, I will go to that before Under Armour. Like as a player, like in terms of marketing and sales, like Under Armour hired Curry because they needed him. Like they dropped so much this year when it comes to sales and the market share, that they needed someone like Steph Curry to help them. So I would be shocked if Under Armour was like, Steph, I'll give you our kidney. Like just take what you want because we need you to save our company, our jobs. We'll talk.
Look, COVID has been 2020 has been crazy because of COVID, and we've all been staying home, and I've never worn so much track pants in my life. And I stay in track pants, and I've exceeded my track pants expectations like 20-fold. And I still wouldn't wear a pair of Under Armour track pants. Real talk. I mean, not me coming off my cash. Like, if I was coming off my ducats, nah. There's other brands I'd rather buy, the swoosh, the stripes, some Pumas, something. And I just don't think they've pivoted great to, like, the whole leisure wear. Like, I'll admit, my cousin got me a pair of Under Armour flip-flops a couple of years ago, and them things is very comfortable.
Okay.
Wow. I was like, these flip-flops feel like I'm in like some sort of like futuristic gel type of. They're proper.
Yeah.
I mean, besides flip-flops, the brand isn't swaggy. Like, you don't see the kids, like, you don't ever see somebody like. Like you go into like a variety store, you go into like a grocery store, you're doing groceries, and someone's wearing like an ill tracksuit, and you look you're not trying to look too hard, but you're trying to peep over to be like, what are they rocking? It never says Under Armour. Never, 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 never. And I don't know how Steph's gonna. What can Steph? He shoots threes. How is he gonna fix that?
Yo, like honestly, I agree with you. Again, congrats to Steph. I'm not knocking what he's doing. I think it's great because remember,
Check.
he's trying to help him. I think he's trying to help him, help with kids playing and like with sports. So the foundation behind his brand, love it what he's doing. However, I don't think it's the best fit for Steph. However, Under Armour, they dropped so much in sales and market share this year that they must have begged him to be on because they needed some type of cool guy, an NBA superstar to try to shift and get some money. But the problem that I had with them was that they were trying to bid against Jordan Brand. I'm like, first of all, Under Armour, you're not even top 5 brand in the world or North America or even in the States. So how are you going to try to in 5 years compete with Jordan? That's very ambitious. I like it, but it's just not going to happen anytime soon. There's too many other brands coming up that Under Armour can't even compete with yet. So Jordan is over here, Under Armour, you're still over there. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at him. Get the bag. Like,
get the money.
Give me a deal. I mean, and the bag was proper. I wouldn't say no. I mean, but I would need to have some creative control, to be honest, because, it's right now it's all about leisure wear, and their leisure wear it's for hockey moms. It's terrible.
So here's $1 million question. Does Seth Curry rock his brother's kicks and be a Curry ambassador for Under Armour?
If Steph is cutting a check, he does. In the real world,
I mean, I can see Steph sending these shoes to his friends. You know how they do like marketing. I remember LeBron sent shoes to like Martin Lawrence. So I could see Steph sending shoes to like, maybe Clay send a pair to like Braun, because remember he's doing golf and basketball as well, right? So I could see him doing that. So Steph won't have to pay for a pair of shoes because he'll get it for free. But I mean, I really hope like they find a way, because what I'm seeing right now, I'm not buying it right now. Like what I'm seeing is not something that appealed to me, but I have a question for y'all. So I actually did some searching on the top 5 footwear right now. So this company called Piper Sandler. So they do like surveys for teens, and teens are the number one, I would say, spenders right now in America. So they did a survey on the top brands, right? So Under Armour, just so you know, they were number 9 in the spring. Now they've dropped to 11th place for footwear. Okay. So that's why, I was saying, they need Steph Curry to at least come back up to 9 because right now they're at 11 right now. So I want you guys to guess the top 3 footwear brands amongst teens right now in North America. And again, this is probably the top footwear brands. And these numbers came out in October 2020. So
I'll go Nike, Adidas. I want to say Puma, but I know Puma's not the one, so I'm not going to slip it in 3. Nike, Adidas, Skechers.
Okay.
Look at Agile's face.
Skechers. How about you, Agile?
If Jordan counts as a brand, I'd say
no. So Jordan is under Nike. It's under Nike brand.
It would be like Nike. No, sorry. It'd probably Vans, Nike, Adidas, Reebok.
But like your top 3 though. What are your top 3 brands?
Yeah, I would go Vans, Nike, Adidas.
Okay.
That's good. I like Vans. That's good. So
the winner is right brands, Agile, but wrong order.
Okay.
So
he's human.
52% favorite brand. And again, that's in sales and market share is Nike. 52%. Okay. With 17%, second place is Vans.
Right. Good
and
call.
And in third place with 11% is Adidas. Now, keep in mind, guys, the 5th place, so Converse is 4%, and Foot Locker is 2% market share. So the other 1.9% is where Under Armour is, and they're 11th. You understand? Okay. So, so Steph has a really, really high mountain to climb. But hey, I like that he got money for this and it's a good foundation. But bro, competing against Jordan is not going to happen yet. Give yourself at least 20 more years and we'll see where you go from there. But the Jordan brand is just so strong. Like, I think they're going to be around like number one for a long time.
Right.
So we have a segment called For the Culture. And just how Agile just won that sneaker comp. He understands, he's got his finger on the pulse of culture. Nelly J, you want to take us into for the culture?
So for the culture, y'all, we like to highlight people, places, organizations that are for the culture. And Agile, we want to talk about the foundation that you're a part of as a board. It's called SOCAN, right?
Yeah, SOCAN Foundation.
So kind of walk the viewers and listeners as to what SOCAN is and how they can obviously support you guys.
So SOCAN is it's an acronym for the Society of Composers and Authors of Canada, and they collect royalties on behalf of songwriters, publishers, artists, and authors around the world, and they distribute those royalties to said intellectual property owners. So let's say that me and Faheem wrote a song, wrote a song, and we put it out, and it blew up, and Faheem wrote the lyrics, I did the music, he owns half, I own half. SOCAN, if we're a member of SOCAN, they would go collect those royalties. So like in France and in Britain, wherever they're playing it, and each different territory pays out at a different time, but they would collect it on our behalf, and then they pay us. And SOCAN takes a very, very small percent. So
that's so dope.
Yeah, so that's what SOCAN does. So I'm on the SOCAN Foundation board. So what we do at the foundation is we have a certain amount of money every year, and we distribute that to artists, so songwriters, as well as different societal and organizations who represent composers and writers and publishers across Canada. So we give funding to them. So we have, so for example, we have a grant called the Travel Assistance Grant. So say that Faheem is going to Paris because he's going to perform at a showcase out there for a bunch of people who book artists. So there's a big showcase out there. He needs some extra dough to go there. We provide a grant. It's called the Travel Assistance Grant. He can apply. It's easy to get if you're a member. It's quick. You go, you do your showcase, you come back, we cut the check. It's a wrap. Wow. So what we do at the foundation is our job is to create strategies to target emerging songwriters and help sustain and help grow career songwriters through our granting system. This year we introduced the Black Composers Awards, Canadian Black Composers Awards. So that's the first time. I know it seemed like it dropped in this terrible year of 2020, but it's been something that the board's been working on for years. It just so happened that we had planned to roll it out at a certain time, and then COVID happened, so we had to push it back a little bit, and we just got pushed right till what seemed the optimal time, which was September.
Yeah.
So we just did our first awards. We just finished having that meeting, and we're about to announce those in January. So we had 5 awards of $5,000 each for emerging artists. So we decided to target Black artists that are emerging, and it was quite simple. You have to be a SOCAN member, Canadian, and submit a new work that has been created in the last 2 years. So it's pretty simple qualifications, and then we had a great panel of publishers, people in the music industry, other artists, and they sat on the jury, and we had 300 submissions.
I'm gonna ask you how many people. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of music, but I mean,
that's amazing.
So much fire. There was so much fire. Like, to be honest, we could have given out 25.
Wow.
Incredible.
It's hard though. Like, how do you pick to 5? Like, I always wondered about that. Like, how do you decide between was it 50 amazing artists, great songs, originality, but you gotta only pick 5. Like that must be so hard to do.
Yeah, it was really hard. I think, the first 2 or 3 were easy. I mean, the way the system, the way we've set up the system, and shout out to the classical music side of things, because in classical music, there's a lot of competition for prizes and granting. So like the whole structure of that industry is set up for that. So with the black with the Canadian with the Black Canadian Music Award, we kind of took that skeleton and brought it in terms of how to go through the applications. So it was pretty easy in terms of like once everybody did it and we sat down, you just literally ran the spreadsheet and it showed you who was rated at the top, right? And there was a couple clear cut people that we all were excited about. So those two or three slid through. It was the last 2 that were, because that's when the playing field, like if and I'm just throwing out these numbers as an example. This is not accurate, but like, so if the first 2 or 3 were like, across the board, they were hitting almost 10 out of 10. And then the number 2 person was hitting almost 10 out of 10. And the number 3 person was hitting like 9.5. And those were the top 3 ones. Then the last 2, there was probably like 30 people that were all hitting like 8.5, 9. So they were all worthy and they were all fire. And then it was, arguments and debates and democracy. Democracy won out. It was just like, okay, when we can't be unanimous anymore, we just whittled it down. We went from like 10 to 5 to 2, and then that's it.
Okay.
So after you get to that 1, is there anything you guys do to help groom them, or is it mainly just a grant and do your best with the money that you've got?
Yeah, it's a no strings attached grant. Here you won. This is your dough. It was co-sponsored by SiriusXM, so it's nice to see.
That's dope.
Nice to see a corporation benefiting from the community, giving back to the community. So shout outs to them for their corporate responsibility. That's really dope to see. And yeah, I mean, we give them the money and hopefully it furthers their career. I mean, the good thing about people who applied for that, no one's applying to win a grant to get 5 racks to go hit the mall.
Right. Yeah.
And like when you're thinking like that, you're like, if I get 5 racks, I'm gonna get some studio time. I might get a piece of gear or 2 so I can save on some costs, or maybe that can get me this little video that I want, put together EPK, tighten up my website, get some merch. Their wheelhouse is already. I mean, and that's our job, right? Is to take the little money that we have and seed it throughout the ecosystem so that we keep, investing into the Canadian music industry. And that's what we do at the foundation. It's super important work.
No, that's dope. Can someone win or get the grant on 2 different, like multiple years? Like say you get it this year, you put out banging music, and then next year you put out banging music. Can you go back again?
For the Black Canadian Music Awards, I'm not too sure about that one. For other grants, you can. I think there's a limit of up to 2 or 3, depending on what grant you're applying for. But we have different grants and awards at the foundation. It's SOCANFoundation.ca if you want to go check out. If you want to go check out the different things that we have available to people. But it's super vast, right? It's from classical music to popular music, festivals. I mean, things like the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame. They're one of, we give them what's called operational funding. It's important work that we do, right?
I was gonna ask you about that because I feel like you were there when the Juno Awards, when a lot of the Black artists boycotted it, right? That was a couple of years ago when I think it was Cardinal Official, Julie Black. They boycotted the Juno Awards because they felt that it wasn't showing enough Black musicians and the Black artists that we have in Canada. So I remember, well, I think it was 4 years ago, they all boycotted the award show. Do you think we'll ever have our own kind of Black Canadian awards for like our own artists, for like the ones that are in Toronto? Is there one right there right now? Like, you know, we have BET in America. We're going to BET kind of like that stuff in Canada, do you think?
We did have one in the early 2000s. It was called UMAC. It was short for the Urban Music Academy of Canada.
Okay.
I'm not sure what happened with UMAC in terms of. I know they're kind of kicking around a little bit, but they're not like. I mean, they had award shows and they were super part of the industry. We need something like that again. And then, you know, we had the Stylus Awards, which is a DJ oriented awards, which is really dope too. But we haven't been able to. We haven't had access to the things that would keep these things sustainable. We've all been locked out. So this has been a year where like, you know, white guilt has kicked in, you know, because of some of the visual atrocities being exhibited on our people for display, and they're starting to see like, oh wow, things aren't as even as we have a mental picture of, and there's been more outreach to try to make that better. I mean, it's late, but it's here now, right? So I can either be on the sidelines and complaining about how late it is, or I can be in the game and try to figure out the best uses for some of these things and try to help people. I mean, the Junos are not in a great situation. You know, they've alienated the biggest artist to ever come out of this country, period.
Yes.
He just happens to be Black. And he happens to be a hip hop artist. So they alienated him and, you know, did the highest disrespectful thing I've ever seen in an award show. And it was just more indicative of the culture, right? Like, when I say the culture, I mean the Canadian music culture. They're so behind, and they're so... It's just weird. I mean, that's the only way I could say it's weird, because, okay, when we first put out our first record in 1999, we did that independently. We thought we had a hot record. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I just knew that we had a hot record. We put our own money into it. We pressed it up. We mailed it and FedExed it to DJs around the world, and they played it. We sent it to distributors. They told us no. We sent it to other distributors. They said, yeah, sure. Started selling. And then all of a sudden, those same distributors that said no started hitting us up and be like, hey, remember that record you sent? Could you send us some of those records?
Interesting.
That was my introduction to the music industry. That was 1999. And I you know, right out the box, I learned, like, you have to do it yourself, and no is a normal thing. People are always going to say no. You just can't listen to them.
Right.
When it comes to the Canadian music industry, they've been saying no to Black music so long that they didn't get the memo that the landscape of music has changed. Their kids aren't going to Long and McQuaid to buy an acoustic guitar. They're going to Long and McQuaid to buy turntables and an MPC or a machine or some sort of beat thing. These kids are making music on their computers. And what do they listen to? They listen to Post Malone. They listen to Lil Yachty. They listen to, you know, Lil fill in the blank, Lil Pump, somebody, you know what I mean?
The Baby, all the guys, yeah, Lil Baby, the Baby, all them.
The kids listen to, like, the kids, there's no like punk or rock groups. There's no Sum 41s that are kicking dust. They're like either boy bands or they're rappers. And they missed the boat so long that they don't even know what to do anymore at this point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it seems that way. Like, I don't know of any other like Canadian Black artists. The ones that are good are all like underground or like they're on Toronto rappers, but like, we had an artist on our show the other day, Bodie, and he has great songs. And I'm like, why aren't they on the radio? Like, these songs are fire. My friends are like, yo, those are great songs. And I'm like, yeah, but they're not on our radio. Why is that? It's weird how we will play hip hop artists in America before we play our own artists in Canada. It's just messed up.
Yeah. Well, once again, you know, it's twofold. A lot of the music directors and program directors at the Canadian radio stations here, this is what they actually do, which is hilarious, because this is not what they should be doing, but this is what they actually do. So they look at what's charting in the States, they see what's top 40, and if something hits top 40 in the States, they might consider adding it here.
Crazy.
Now, what that job used to entail was for those people to listen to the records that they were receiving, whether it was independently or from the record labels, and then make accurate judgments based on their music knowledge. But they're not hiring these people because they have music knowledge. They're hiring analysts, that are charting data. And I'm like, you guys aren't even looking at the right data. Like, the radio stations in this country don't reflect what the people in this country actually listen to, right? Mm-hmm. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, I remember when we put out our first records, and as an independent group, like, we could tour, we can make money, we could sell our merch and all that stuff. And, you do shows all over the States, all over here, and you go to after parties and stuff, and they're playing our music. And it's a mixed crowd, no matter, like, we were in Boston opening for Farside, and it's like the whitest of the whitest crowds. You go to the after party, and it's all hip-hop all night. Mm-hmm. And this was like early 2000s. Do you know what I mean? And I used to come back, and I used to always think that, they would be like, oh, well, your stuff's not being played because it's not really selling. And I'm just like, that doesn't really compute, because I'm in the clubs. I'm a DJ. I'm like, I'm not playing for all black people all the time. I'm spinning for every nation under the sun, and they're singing all the words to the songs that I like, the hip hop and R&B stuff that I like, the house music that I like. And it was always this BS that they were selling us, that these records aren't translating to sales, whatever, blah blah blah. I'm just like, are you sure? Because everybody in the club knows the words to all these songs. Like a song like Tried by 12 by the East Flatbush Projects, which is like a super underground obscure hip hop record, was a huge club record with the most random people coming up asking us to play this record. Wow. And I'm like, if that song is breaking through and it's only available on vinyl, I'm like, what you're telling me doesn't make sense. And sure enough, you fast forward to the streaming era now, where we can see the data. It's not just sales charts, which can be skewed. You can see what people are listening to. And it's like we said, not only do we dominate, it is not even close. Like, it's hip hop and R&B, and what's coming in next is dance music, and that's like being lapped like 5 times. And then after that is like rock being lapped like 25 times. Yeah. It's not even close. It's like, it's not fair. It's kind of like, me going to a daycare and beating up all the kids, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the man on the block. It's like, bro, you beat up a daycare. It's not even close. Like, not even close.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know what? Like, big up to SOCAN Foundation, folks. It's SOCANfoundation.ca. So check them out, support them. And of course, let's all support the Black Canadian Music Awards, and good luck to all the artists. And hopefully we can see who wins when you guys announce it in January. So congrats to that. I'm happy that you're a part of that.
Okay. And as we transition out of the For the Culture segment, just want to make it known, Agile, you are on Netflix.
Yes.
The evolution of hip hop.
You're on Netflix, Agile? What?
So you need to drop a bomb with this one. Let us know about it.
Yeah. So I did all the music. Well, the majority of the music for seasons 3 and seasons 4. So anything that's not a licensed song. So don't think that you hear the Snoop Dogg song playing and that was me. I wish that was, but that's not me. But yeah, all the music, like all the background music and the outro. So the outro of the show and all the background music.
There he is.
Big
Netflix
up,
evolution.
Big up at DJ Agile. That's huge, bro.
Yeah, man. So stream that into the ground. It's gonna pay some bills around here.
So guys, For the Culture, please stream hip hop. The evolution, right?
Evolution of hip hop.
Stream that so Agile can get some money in his pocket.
That's
More
right.
money in his pocket, I should say.
All right. And that concludes the For the Culture segment. Also, so actually I want to mention this. The Raptors. So there's the in-house DJ that they have, DJ Four Corners.
Kirk, what's up? That's
definitely well known for rocking a house, keeping people entertained.
Yeah.
While the game is going on, in between, keeping the vibe right.
Too.
When he's not available, we got DJ Agile who steps in on the ones and twos.
I'm like the replacement killer. Kirk is ever, if Kirk's ever sick, or a couple times there was questions about his flight coming back because of weather or things like that. He might have been late or whatever. I've been on standby. So I like usually within a regular season I'll do at least like 2 or 3 games. Mm-hmm. So it's a great honor to fill in for Kirk and be a part of the Raptors. Obviously I'm a fan and I'm a basketball nut. So it combines my love of sports and music together, and it's great. It's DJing a basketball game is not like DJing a party, right? Like,
I'll ask you, like walk us through how is the difference of DJing a Raptors game versus a party.
Well, you have like the controller of everything. So that's a department within the Raptors called game operations. So they, that's like where Mark Strong and Kat and Kirk from Four Corners and everybody and their mom that's part of the operation of the game. That's not like security or ushers or whatever. This is like the entertainment part, right? So you have game ops in one ear, and then I have my turntables and stuff in the other ear. So they're letting me know like, oh, there's a timeout coming. We're throwing to this BMO thing, and the song is blah blah blah. So I have that song. So you get all this stuff in advance. So it's very like, it's a well-oiled machine. It's all scripted and stuff. So where the DJing part comes in is when those things are done, when we're done our commitments, right? Before they start throwing the ball back in, and you hear us mixing a song in, that's us doing us. That first song, that's part of the, whatever was planned for that segment, and then we can kind of add our own flavor to it.
Nice. All right. So, well, since you, as you said, you're a ball nut, so let's get into some that's absurd.
That's absurd. Faheem, bro, what was absurd this week, bro? What was absurd?
So I have to say, this absurd topic that we have is, I wouldn't say it's Hall of Fame, but it's worth mentioning. It's RJ Barrett. He was actually snubbed from the NBA All-Rookie team. Absurd.
Confusion.
He didn't make first team or second team for the rookies. So that's definitely something I would say that's pretty absurd. RJ himself, he obviously was not happy about this. He says, quote, it bothered me a lot, but it's motivation, unquote. So he's going to take this as a motivation going into next season as being snubbed as a first or second team. Let me just quickly go over that. It's John Morant, Kendrick Nunn, Brendan Clark, Zion Williamson, and Eric Paschal. That's the first team. Second team is Tyler Hero, Terrence Davis, Kobe White, PJ Washington, and Rui Hachimura. So those were the guys that made it before him. Agile, what do you say? No first, second team for RJ. Real quick, what do you got to say? How absurd? Not absurd? What do you say?
Look, I'm an RJ fan. His dad played in Scarborough.
Right.
Yep.
About the Rowan Barrett.
Yeah. So, of course, I'm a fan. But look, his numbers look good, but his shooting percentage is terrible. His percentages are terrible. Of course, you didn't make the teams. Your percentages are terrible, bro. You're shooting bricks from the free throw line. Look, I think he's going to be a good player in this league. I think he has the potential to be a star player. He has all the gifts. But you got to be efficient. This is the NBA. This is the NBA in 2020. You got to be efficient. I'm sorry. Like, I play fantasy, so I know those numbers.
I'm fantasy too.
He would not be. I'm in a 10-team, 13 cat league. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't be my 13th player because he would tank my free throw percentages and he would tank my field goal percentages, just on that alone. And if I'm not punting those, bro, you can't be every
bro.
10
Scarborough right here. Not Scarborough.
10 players you named have had better rookie years than he did.
And you know what? I really can't argue that. Like,
I mean, I can. I will argue it. How about
please
that?
Do,
because
do.
This is my thing, right? Good points about fantasy, but let's be real. RJ's numbers was way better than Terrence Davis.
No, wait, not efficient.
It was. Look up the numbers. It was better numbers in terms of points, average points scored in the game.
He plays for the Knicks.
Pardon me?
He plays for the Knicks. Me and Faheem would get.
I get that, but at the end of the day, though, if we're just stats, RJ had better stats, and again, he's playing for a bad team, so the chemistry that Terrence had on Raptors. Remember, he's playing with a championship team, so I feel like I think RJ being the Canadian player, not really having the connection that maybe other American players have. I don't know. Like, to me, it's kind of like a hating kind of thing. Like, I feel like he should have at least gotten second team, personally.
Right.
There's no way. First team, yes, that team is good. I have no problem with that first team. The second team, and again, I like Terrence Davis, not anymore. What happened with with his girlfriend, whatever. But alleged stuff. But he got charged. But end of the day, for me, it's like I love Terrence playing for the Raptors. But if I'm going to pick between RJ and Terrence for that team, I'm picking RJ Barrett over Terrence. I am.
I may go RJ. Just due to the fact that RJ he has more commitment, like there's more on his shoulders, right? Terrence can come in and just slip in and do what he needs to do.
He's coming off the bench, like playing what?
RJ, he's doing the heavy lifting and he's actually carrying a franchise.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm looking at the percent. I have them both open here.
Yeah,
Terrence Davis 42% from three.
But playing like what? But playing how many minutes though a game? 10 minutes, 2 minutes? What was he playing per game?
He's probably playing about 15 minutes. What'd you say?
14 minutes.
14 minutes. That's right. Right. And what's RJ playing? Like twice as much, probably 30 minutes. It's probably.
Look, no one's saying that RJ is not carrying a heavier load, right? But Terrence is 48% field goal percentage from the field, 42 from three. He hit all his free throws for the season. Take that in.
Right.
But also though, keep in mind though, Agile, that it's also pressure and mental health, right? If I'm coming off the bench and I'm playing with Freddie and Kyle Lowry, I have less pressure on my shoulder to just kind of come off, be more loose and be more confident because I know I have Siakam here, I have Serge here, I have Mark. Like I'm on a better team. I have Nick Nurse coaching me. So I'm in a better environment. Whereas I think RJ is in a very hostile, weird situation in the Knicks. So to me, I get what you're saying when it comes to percentages, but you can't only look at paper. Paper isn't enough. Watching these both players, watching Terrence and RJ playing, we remember RJ was drafted at a high pick. He's a better athlete and player than Terrence. I'm not drafting Terrence over RJ in any draft, okay? For any reason. So he's the better player, yes, but I think that he still should have made a second team, at least second team.
I say second team also.
Yeah.
So who are you booting off the second team? Terrence?
Yeah, Terrence.
No, I wouldn't move Terrence.
You wouldn't?
No.
I'd move Terrence.
You'd move him?
Head hurts.
Who'd you move? Hero? Who'd you move? Tyler?
No, maybe PJ Washington. PJ Washington from Charlotte.
No, PJ had
Remember though, it's two guards. It goes by two guards, a forward, center. So it has to be a guard. You have to
be a guard. So it's Terrence. It's a tough one. Terrence or RJ? So I'm
going to say it's Terrence or Tyler. Who are you going to move?
Neither.
I'm moving Terrence easily. I'm sorry, RJ. So at the end of the day, I'm thinking about who I draft in order. It was RJ or Terrence for my team. I'm picking RJ. When it comes to last year, I think if RJ played for the Raptors, he'll have big numbers too. Like real talk. Like I think.
Okay, that's fair.
So if I'm putting Terrence on the Knicks, he's having a worse year. So I think with RJ's situation, what he was given, I think he still did quite well given in his situation of the New York Knicks, which is total garbage, right? So again, I don't think first team would be for him because I think like he's obviously rookie of the year. He's amazing. But I think second team, and I love Terrence as a Raptor fan, but RJ or Terrence, I'm picking RJ every single time.
I don't know. You did give a point. If RJ was playing on the Raptors, he'd have better stats for sure. I mean, I just feel when Knick players complain that they're not getting the respect, I'm just like, your team stinks. Like that doesn't come with that team. Like, I'm sorry, the Knicks have sucked for 20 years now. They have new leadership up top, and apparently things are going to be different. But I mean, if you're a Knick player, just deal with it for now, because
Yeah.
Yes, you're not going to be on an all rookie team because while your 14 point whatever points per game looks good, when you dig a little deeper, it's like, bro, you shot 67% from the free throw line.
Yeah, that is low.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess this went from that's absurd to maybe it's not that absurd.
No, for me, it's absurd, y'all. It's absurd.
It's absurd. That's what I think.
What was that, DJ Agile?
I said I think RJ complaining he didn't make it is absurd. That's what I think. If you're a Nick, you're not making it until your team does some push-ups. Like, get your weight up.
Get your weight up. All righty.
Knicks fans, sorry.
Well, hey, but Knicks fans are still making that guap, though. They're making that guap as a franchise, so they can suck all they want because they're making so much money. Their fans are so loyal. They're like the Leafs fans, like Toronto Leafs
fans. Yeah.
Like they will forever support the Knicks no matter what.
Yeah.
All right.
At least
let's put this episode in the books.
Episode 16.
16. We want to thank Agile for coming through.
DJ Agile, big up yourself, Bredron. Big up yourself.
Guys, it's been fun. This has been really dope.
Thank you.
So before you head out, DJ Agile, we want to give you a chance to do a shout out. You can shout out your friends, your family, or anybody. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, shout out, all the friends and fam. You know who you are. And shout out Scrub number 1. You know who you are.
Who's Scrub number 1? I want to know who that is.
He knows who he is. He's listening.
He knows.
I'm being a Mako. Okay, cool. Oh my gosh. So my shout out actually is towards the quarterback for the Broncos. I forgot his name. Mercy. Let me put up his name quickly. But so the Broncos had a QB situation this week. So they had 3 quarterbacks, of course. All of them got COVID. Yeah. So they weren't able to start any quarterback. So they had a fella that was a wide receiver on the practice squad who played as a quarterback this past weekend. It was insane. So I want to shout you out, bro, because I can't imagine being a wide receiver and then playing in an NFL game as a quarterback. So his name is Kendall Hinton. Big up yourself, bro. Shout you out. You deserve respect because what you did to play a full football game in a professional level, being a wide receiver, kudos to you, bro.
Is he black?
Yeah, he's black.
Yeah, his name's Kendall Hinton. I'm like, got
Hinton. Yeah, Kendall Hinton.
Got it. So I know my people.
Yeah, so shout you out, bro.
My shout out's easy. I want to shout out DJ Agile. It's been a pleasure. It's been a while since I've seen you, and it's great being able to build with you once again.
Yeah, it's good seeing you, homie.
Great having you on the podcast. And that's it. Let's throw it in the books. Episode number 16.
16, y'all. So please share, like, and share with a friend to share with a friend. Check out DJ Agile. His Insta will have it for y'all to check him out and of course, support his SOCAN Foundation that he's a member of. Let's support our own guys, and congrats to whoever won the Black Music Awards this year.
That's right. All right. So that's Good Rookies Podcast, episode 16. And we out. Peace.